What's up, everyone? You made it to Friday. Welcome to the Friday Live with Lauren show. I am Lauren. If you are just joining us for the first time, thank you so much for spending your Friday with me and my good friend Richie, who we're going to bring out in a little bit. It has been a very long time since I've gone live on any platform. So bear with us. We're going to do the best we can today. I'm stoked that I have this guest on with me. I asked Richie to come on this show multiple times. And there was always a reason why it couldn't happen. So when I was bringing it back, I knew exactly who I had to reach out to and get on the show because Richie is somebody who is going to help you level up your career in ways that you didn't even know were possible. He's going to tell you the things you might not want to hear. It might get a little spicy, but we're going to ultimately help you really learn, laugh, and level up today. So if that's what you're here for, you came to the right place. Without further ado, let's bring Richie to the stage. What's up, Richie?
Good. I like the live, laugh, love alliteration of your
Yeah.
intro there.
We got to have a little iteration. Blah, blah, blah. Look, I can't even speak today.
Right.
We got some people already joining us. What's up, Liz? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. I don't know who this is, but thank you so much, LinkedIn user. Comment who you are. That's your privacy settings, not mine. But yeah, I got Richie here today. If you're joining us, please share the show. Let some other people know we're live. I don't know how LinkedIn's going to treat me because we haven't been doing this consistently. So
Mhm.
let other people know that we are here. Start commenting. Tell us where you are joining from. And with that, I'm going to ask Richie if he'll do a little intro and tell us who is Richie Lampani.
Okay. I'm Richie Lampani. I own Rebel Talent Systems Company, whatever. I still own part of Underground Admins, which is a contingent agency. And then I'm internal at Earth Daily Federal, which is a geospatial company. We work with Army, Navy, all that kind of stuff within DoD. And I'm newly internal at a company called Calibri Labs, just for technical help for recruiting consulting. That's who I am.
That's who he is. And Richie, how do we know each other?
Uh, I can't remember what we probably met screwing around on LinkedIn, like with the McKee brothers, maybe, or something like that. And then I
Probably.
conned you into working for Castle with a couple other people, and you quit before we all got fired.
I was like right on the brink of like I
Yeah,
knew it was coming and the social media thing was coming up and I was like, yeah, no, I love my live
yeah,
show. I love what I'm doing. And I pieced out right before you.
yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot about that. Yeah, the social media contract that Lauren wouldn't sign.
I wasn't signing it.
Yeah.
And look at where we are today, man.
Hmm.
We're both blessed that we didn't end up signing any type of social media contract.
Oh, I signed
You
it.
well, and then it didn't work out anyway.
Yeah,
So
it didn't
you're
work
not
out.
in any social media
Right.
contract right now.
No.
What's up, Tom? Hi in Cape Cod. Good to see you here. Yeah, so Richie and I worked together for a brief period, but we remain friends.
Hmm.
Richie's one of the only people who ever poached me away from doing something else and convinced me to come work for him. So I think that says a lot about Richie and his talent in the industry too. But yeah, today we're going to talk about a bunch of topics. We are going to get into the hiring process. We're going to talk about what's actually working. We're going to talk to those of you who think that you just need another certification and that's all you need in your career to do better and level up, because that's not necessarily true. We're going to talk about the fact that a lot of people blame recruiters when they might be the problem. We're going to dig into that. That's a spicy topic of the day. So stay
Hmm.
tuned if you're ready for some heat. We'll talk about if you want a promotion that maybe you need to stop doing your job so well. Maybe you're getting a little stuck because you're doing so well at the job you're doing now. And we're going to talk about networking without being annoying. That's, I think, one of my favorite topics of the day. And then if you're here and you're in a position where you're stuck right now, at the end of the show, we're going to talk about a 30-day career reset plan of what you can do, how you can lay out your next month, and really find something new in your job. Excuse me. So, with that, Richie, let's start off with the hiring process. I think a lot of people know it's broken. It's definitely different than it was years ago. Even years ago
Hmm.
when you and I met, everything has changed. But
Hmm.
I think that we still see too many people falling into the easy apply or the spray and pray.
Hmm.
What are you seeing in the market that's
Uh,
actually working?
yeah, more so now, right? So I posted about this a couple hours ago, actually. I put up a machine learning engineer role for 24 hours. I got 350 applications. I would say 70% of them somehow quickly took the job description, put it at ChatGPT, mixed it with their resume, and then fired it back at me. So there was a lot of like really perfect matches very quickly. So even more so now, it's messy. And candidates and recruiters all complain about the same thing with AI, but we're all using it. Here's my hint on this. If your resume doesn't match your LinkedIn, I'm probably going to reject you these days just because I know what you did.
Right.
So, but yeah, very broken in terms of applying, especially easy apply.
Very broken. I don't think the easy apply works for anyone. I think we're seeing actually a lot of companies move away from even posting their
Mhm.
jobs on LinkedIn because so many people are mass applying and doing what you're saying.
Mhm.
It's a waste on their investment as well. I don't think people really understand how much it costs to post jobs on LinkedIn or
Mhm.
any job board, period, if you're not in the industry.
Mhm.
And really, the mass spray and pray applying is hurting everybody who's
Mhm.
applying for that job, not just the person who might not be qualified. And I'm not saying don't shoot your shot, right? I think that
Mhm.
there's definitely times and places that we should all be out there and engaging and going for things that are maybe a little bit above our pay grade. That's how we advance. But at the same point, if you know that you have 4 years experience and the job request 15 plus, that's a bigger jump than anybody's gonna be willing to take.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I set my parameters. If my boss at the one job says he wants 5 years, I'm probably gonna set the job at 3 to 7, because I want the people that are close. I don't want someone that's like a junior. I can't. I'm just gonna reject it right away. And the real big thing right now is we are getting 100% matches. We're getting a lot of 100% matches. So if you're way outside of the box of what we can reasonably do, you're never gonna get it. It's not shooting your shot. It's wasting your time at that point. So
And it's
yeah.
wasting your time too, the
Hmm.
recruiter's time, the
Oh,
hiring manager's
absolutely.
time. It's a waste on both ends.
Mhm.
I wanna bring up what you talked about just a second ago. You said that I know you're using AI because your resume and your LinkedIn don't match.
Mhm.
I think the people who are actually getting interviews are being intentional enough to only apply for roles that really do match the background. And even if they have to change a few things on their resume, it still very much lines up with their career history on LinkedIn.
Right.
Um, it matters more than people think.
Mhm. I agree. If you're not so that it's like a double-edged sword, right? I don't wanna see a complete AI resume, but if it's there and you're not using it, why not? I'm using it. I'm using it to sort. I'm not using it to disqualify or filter the way that people think, but I need to see who matches 100% first. That's why I gotta get to it quick. So if it's there and you can use it, but don't be crazy about it. Like, don't rewrite the entire thing. We've had people that have just completely taken our job description and then essentially reapplied with it. That doesn't work. But it's there. Edit your resume, edit the output, and put it in, but make sure it's actually stuff you did because you're not going to pass a technical screen. And I know you work with more salespeople, so it's a little different. I'm doing sales hiring right now. I'll tell you what, it's pretty much been referrals, honestly, or me headhunting. I think I've had the job up for a while. I don't promote it because
Yeah,
I don't want the influx. It's a remote role. Like, I'll get obliterated, and you have to have worked with the federal government at some point to get the job, and I'll still get obliterated because people will think, well, maybe this is close enough. Well, it's really not.
right.
So we have to be in that spot. We have to make sure that the things that we can use to, as awful as it is to screen people out, we have to screen people out because so many people are qualified for some of these roles because the market's bad. So we have a lot of people on the market.
There's so many people on the market right now. I'm using AI to help me sort candidates into the order that I should be interviewing in. Not
Mhm.
necessarily to disqualify people, but I really want to see who's matching closely. And like you said, I do go check the LinkedIn just like you do, because if it's completely different, you're not going to the top of the pile.
Mhm.
And also to your point, the first people that I talk to are referrals. A
Mhm.
referral matters so much, and people act like LinkedIn is broken, but they're just not networking the right way to get the proper referrals that they need. Do
Right.
you see that?
Yeah, I do, and I just went through a job search myself too last year. So here, and I'll give you the raw numbers of it. I think I applied to 100 roles. I did what everybody else does, as well as what I was doing on the side. So I think I applied to around 100. I got 0 interviews from that, and I'm a very experienced, a visible recruiter, and I got 0 interviews. I got 1 interview from an application I did the year before. It was so random. I was like, "I didn't apply." And he's like, "Well, you have an old application." I'm like, "Weird." So I did probably 30 first rounds. Every single one of them came from a referral. Not one application went through or made it through to where I got an interview for it. Yep.
What do you say to people who maybe they had a referral and they got into the interview process, but they didn't get through? What advice do you give those people?
Yeah, I had that happen to me a lot too. I had a really good referral at Stripe. Nothing came of it. That's part of it, right? So if we're leaning on referrals, which we kind of have to right now because of what's going on with things like auto applying and mass applying, it doesn't necessarily guarantee you're in. And you gotta, be thankful and be gracious that somebody tried to help you out. I haven't had anybody get mad at me when they got rejected after a referral. There was one time when I got mad at somebody because I was like, "What the heck, man?" Because he had set me up like I got the job, and that's a problem, right? Just be grateful, and you can't ask for it. Like the position yourself to be like, if there's a job open and you fit, give your person a reason to want to submit you. Just don't expect it. Um, I think that's what you're asking.
That's 100% what I'm asking.
Okay.
And before we move to the next topic, I want your opinion. What do you think people should do right after they apply? Because I think a lot of times people apply and then they just close that tab and they move on to the next one. What should everybody be doing each time they apply for a role?
If you can, I would hit somebody from the company, see who you know, um, and let somebody know you applied because it does help, even though it's annoying sometimes for some of us. And if you can find an email somebody after you've done a little research on the company. Just don't message somebody and say, "Hey, I applied." Do a personalized message, not a chat GPT personalized message. Say, "Hey, I applied at Earth Daily. You guys work with satellites and intelligence analysts. I like that. I'm former Marine Corps, whatever. I fit this role. Here's why." Don't just say, "Hey, I applied. Can you look at my application?" Like, I'm not gonna see that message. I'm not. And even if I do, I'm gonna breeze past it because that's the effort you put in, right?
Exactly.
So yeah.
Exactly. That's like bottom tier. We
Mhm.
got one comment, and he said it's a little controversial. Gregory says the resume is dead, or we are getting close to it. Nobody can stand out with the use of AI. What do you think about that comment?
I think that it's the resume is gonna morph, right? There will be no time when the resume is dead. We're at somehow going to have to show experience, qualifications, and everything else. Is it going to be a piece of paper? It's already not a piece of paper. Do we put it on a PDF right now? Yeah, but we also have LinkedIn, which is a virtual resume. Torque.dev, they do a whole portfolio for you, but it's still a resume. It's just in a different form.
Right.
So yeah, the PDF resume is dying. I can't look at a resume and say this person's perfect like I used to be able to, because everybody's perfect on paper now. So I have to see in tech, I have to see their GitHub, I have to see what they're doing, where they've been in the projects they've been on. Can't look at a resume and read that because it should be perfect. If it's not, there's like a giant problem. It's either they don't care enough to make it look right, or they're just way wrong and just shooting their shot and they don't fit. So yeah, the
Exactly.
resume as it is dead for sure.
See, it's not that controversial. We agree
Hmm.
with you.
Hmm.
Um, okay, this next topic I've mainly brought on because you came on, and like you said,
Hmm.
I deal with a lot of salespeople, but you deal with a lot more technical aspect jobs. And I know I hear it from my friends who do these types of jobs that everybody's always getting a new certification,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they're pricey to get. They take a lot of time out of what you're doing to actually move forward and have a new certification. Do you think just having a bunch of letters behind your name makes you get a promotion or a new job?
No, I mean, for something, some things are going to matter. And infrastructure, if a job requires a CCNA and you want that job, you're going to have to go get the CCNA. When I went and got the PMP because I had placed a lot of PMs and I wanted it, I wanted to see if I could do it. But there's a lot of the PMP will also get you a little bit of a salary increase. Should you be sitting around and doing that right now when you don't have a job? Probably not. Like networking is going to serve you a little bit better, but continued education, if you're doing it for that, yeah. Go get a Coursera AI. NVIDIA offers AI certifications. Claude or Anthropic does. Those will help you. Uh, CISO, when you're not up for a job that requires that, it's not going to help you. The HR ones can help you, because that's a industry that they value certifications and degrees. So within tech, hopefully we go away from all that altogether. It's going to be kind of it's meritocracy. If you can do it, you can do it. If you can prove you can do it, you can do it. With piece of paper is not going to help. It's a mixed answer because sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't, right?
Depends on the role, depends on the
It really
company.
does, really does. Because in infrastructure, they're going to want to see the certs. In Scrum Master, probably they don't care, you
Right.
know. So
And it does really depend on the company. Are you going to work for a company that's been in business for 50 years and they're old school and this is how they've done it and they're one of the companies that's like you turn right because that's the way you've always done it. You'd have
right,
to turn right. They're not open
absolutely.
to new things. To Gregory's point about the resume's dead, I feel that, but at the same time, try to go apply on a Workday job site and not put in a resume and tell it, "Oh, just look at my LinkedIn." I mean,
Right.
yes, some of it you can connect it now, but old school companies still want that to happen. Very
Hmm.
corporate roles are still going to require that. When you look at these smaller Series A companies, maybe they're a little bit more flexible with what you can have and what you need.
Right.
And they're probably also not paying for any of these certifications for you.
No, absolutely not. Like me and you worked with the company, DCI, Acumen. I don't remember the name
Yep.
of it. Um, they did. They paid for the PMP for their PMs, and they would give them a raise after they got it. That's amazing, But they wanted it. It meant something to their clients. That's why they did it. They didn't really care about it, but the
Right.
clients liked it because they're all Medicare vendor clients. So yeah, in that scenario, yeah, I get it. You'll get a $5,000, $10,000 a year raise. In any other scenario, like I'm a recruiter, I passed the PMP on the first try. What does that tell you about that certificate? I'm
Exactly.
smart, but come on, like, yeah,
Richie's no dummy,
I'm
but
not a
we're
dummy, but I'm
also
also not a
saying
PM. So yeah.
and really in terms of getting a promotion, a certification can help. But what I think really matters is you have to be visible in the role you're doing. You need to be a trusted partner and you need to show that you're already operating at that next level. A
Hmm.
lot of people are doing their role well and they're like, why am I not getting promoted? And you're not showing that you can do more. And I know we're going to talk later about you're doing too much to get promoted, but sometimes you're not even showing bare minimum effort of that next level. And why would you be that choice?
And sometimes in the this is something that my brothers were infamous for when we were growing up. Sometimes it's not time to get promoted, and we expect it so fast because we're doing better than our neighbor or whatever. Well, sometimes it just takes more time than you're willing to wait. We're such a I need it now TikTok society now. Like maybe you don't deserve the promotion. Chill out, hang out where you are for a minute, and it's okay to do that too.
It
So.
really is. I think sometimes people get a little butthurt. They see somebody else come in, they see something different happen, and they don't know that there is probably a plan for them too. But they're so impatient that instead of waiting for that, now I'm just starting to look for the next thing. Like they get angry, they get mad. Oh, you passed me over. But they're not really
Mhm.
having these internal conversations.
Right. I agree. I agree. You have to open your mouth to get promoted too, and
You
act
do.
your wage, as Laura
Closed
Gaslin
mouths
said.
don't get fed, that's for
No.
sure. Okay. Do you think that employees have specific things that they can work on internally in terms of like networking and communication when they want to get promoted? How do you think they should approach that with their boss if they know that that's what they want, but they don't see that on the table?
Yeah, absolutely. I think most of the time when people get passed over, it's because no one knows they wanted it. And you can't and we live in this kind of world where we think that everybody's thinking about us all the time or noticing us all the time. Is not how it works. Like my bosses at Earth Daily, they're so busy right now, and I'm one of those people, like, if I don't get some kind of attention during the day, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm probably gonna get fired," right? I'm doing good, they love me, but they're busy, man. They expect me to take care of my shit. They don't wanna worry about whether or not I'm worried about whether I'm gonna get a promotion. I need to open my mouth for that kind of thing. And I think that's reality in a lot of industry right now. Everybody's worried about whether or not they're going to be open next week or they're going to have to lay off 5,000 people or whatever. So thinking about you and your individual needs, it's not happening. Should we be aware of that? Should we? They call them like stay interviews or something. Should we have one-on-ones weekly with our managers where we can voice things like that? Yeah, absolutely. But it doesn't always happen, and we can't expect it to happen. We have to kind of take it. We're in charge of our own career, right? So
Amen.
open your mouth, and that's who you have to blame at that point. If somebody's pushing you off constantly, then that's a different topic, right?
That is a different topic, but you are absolutely correct in the only person who is going to level up your career is you.
Hmm.
And maybe somebody will give you a referral and help you get in the door, but you still have to perform, you still have to ace the interview, you still have to be the person that that hiring manager needs.
Hmm.
Referral opens a door, it doesn't get you a job,
Right. Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
We definitely have a couple more people join. I have to say what's up to Mark, who's back. Hi, Mark. So happy to have you. Gregory does think that Workday is going to be left in the dust because it hasn't been updated in decades. I hope so, but I think a lot of people paid a lot of money to have Workday for a long
Yeah.
time, and they're looped into these horrible contracts that they just can't get out
Right.
of.
And the problem with Workday too is Workday is not just about the ATS and your application portal. That is a pretty heavy duty HRIS program or system. And everything we're seeing on the outside is ancillary. That's not the point of Workday. The point of Workday isn't for you to apply. The point of Workday is for it to run in the internal systems within HR. So they get the application portal free. They're not really that concerned about it. That's not why people buy that system. I do think those big behemoth enterprise systems are probably gonna get killed. Just because I mean I took a month and built my own little ATS and HRIS thing, and it's pretty good. I like it. I think no one's gonna want to pay for that stuff in the future when they're off of those contracts. So yeah, I think Workday has had its day probably, maybe.
See, Gregory, it's not controversial. We're agreeing with you today.
Hmm.
And y'all, if you're here, you can definitely ask questions in the chat. We're happy to answer any questions you have. Gotta say, what's up? We have a first time viewer. Hi to Jane Robinson. So excited you're here. There's plenty of old seasons from years ago, but this season is going to be the best one yet. So happy you joined us. Laura says that Workday integrates with grants and multi-site
Yeah.
compliance. They will be here forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much on the back end. We complain about applying on Workday and that we just won't do it, but there's so much on the back end that it really does do for the companies who use it that
And
I don't
and
think it's going away right away.
people that use Workday are not hurting for applicants. Wells Fargo is one of the bigger ones, and they're fine. They get plenty
Yeah.
of applicants, so you're not doing anything by not applying on there anyway. So
You're just helping them not be flooded
yeah,
with extra
like
people.
yeah, it sucks. It's not a fun system, but I don't know many. I mean, there's all kinds of weird reasons they do what they do, and they definitely have a lot of engineers working on issues and just the stuff that affects us on LinkedIn doesn't affect them day to day. It's not all of our problems are not everyone's problem. So
No, and to your point earlier, and not everybody's thinking about you as much as you're thinking about you or what you're going through. I
Hmm.
mean, everybody is their own main character in their story.
Right.
So we worry, what are people thinking or what is this going to mean? They're not even thinking about it. They don't even,
Hmm.
it didn't cross their mind at
Right.
all.
Right.
So don't get in your head so much, people. Nobody's thinking about you. It doesn't matter if you spelled something wrong. It doesn't matter if you made a little mess. Like, stop, move on, and just keep
Hmm.
going. Keep showing your value and showing your worth.
Hmm.
And then you'll actually get promoted, right? Okay.
Hmm.
Our next topic's a little spicy. We're gonna get into the stop blaming recruiters. I'm expecting there might be some comments. But sometimes it's not the recruiter's fault. I know everybody gets this like gaslit view on LinkedIn of recruiter only looks at your resume for 6 seconds. That's not true. It's
Hmm.
not. We are human beings too. We applied for a job at one point. We know what that feels like. We're not spending a half of a moment and a glance and then moving you to the back of the pile.
Hmm.
But a lot of the times, like you said, the resume is either too perfect of a match or it's too generic. I can either tell that you did way too much, that's not quite accurate, or you did nothing, which shows
Hmm.
no effort. And then when you get in the interview, a lot of people don't understand that you can't ramble. You don't know how to tell your own story. You give really vague answers. And then you just sit at the end and it's like, do you have questions? Nope, I'm good. Hire me tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's all true. I think they'll blame the recruiters. Um, Not all of us, but some of us deserve it. I am anti-recruiter lately for a couple of reasons. I don't think everybody got trained right when we did this mass hiring post COVID, and having I deal with agencies too as an internal person, and it's not going well for y'all. Um so yeah, I think a lot of ownership needs to be taken by leadership in recruiting. Only blame me. I don't care. Like, go ahead, make a billboard. Laura and I talk a lot. So, yeah, I think there needs to be a retraining of the industry. I think a lot of these they opened up as really quick, and you were part of one of them. Come on,
Yes, it
like it
was.
was like I Trevor doesn't. I work with Trevor's ex-wife sometimes on things now. Um, None of those people. They hired the most warm bodies they could get. They had Trevor and Hallie run through the weirdest recruiter training I've ever seen. They were hiring no experience going into a thing that we affect people's lives.
Yes.
Period. There's no way around it. I'm not a paramedic, but I can fuck your bank account up real quick if I don't know what I'm doing. So there's not enough accountability, and there's no way for us to check it, right?
Right.
If I screw up at client A, I can call 100 clients tomorrow and get client B, and I can get a check out of them and screw them over and go to the next one, right? And even if someone goes on LinkedIn and complains about me, I'll block them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
So
does
there
happen.
isn't there we're a professional services industry that doesn't have any kind of certification or oversight.
We
That's
have as much
problematic.
we have as much accountability as like NFL referees.
Right. Name one. Give me one name of one. Right. So, and that's an issue. And it probably wasn't before all of the craziness. I mean, I've worked with some bad recruiters. I've been doing this 14 years now, and I've worked with some bad recruiters. I was a really bad recruiter when I lived in New York. Um, but I learned, right? I stuck with it, and I care about people enough to care. I'm not out there saying I made $1 million last quarter and that's all that matters. I'll tell you how many people that I placed that are still there, and right now I'm at like one person left in the last 12 months. That's what's important to me because that's what's going to keep me paid next year.
Right.
All these guys that feel like mortgage, and you remember when it was like cool to be a Series 6 and 67 stockbroker or whatever, like the boiler room stuff, and then it went into the mortgage guys, and you go to the bar and there'd be a bunch of dudes telling stories about how, man, I almost closed this mortgage and charged her 3% on the back end, blah, 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 blah. And we heard all those stories. I feel like that happened to recruiting.
It,
Like, I
I
don't
agree.
care about your offer turned down. What did you do wrong? You should have known that before the offer got turned down, or before you had to backfill this thing because of this thing, right? It's stupid.
Because that's actually the job of a recruiter, but
Right.
people weren't trained to do that properly,
Right. Right.
right? And like we said,
Hmm.
no accountability, so you can just let it happen. It gets swept under the rug more often than people care to admit. Um,
Hmm.
Somebody had to jump. It's okay. Go jump to your meeting. Thanks for popping in, and you can catch the rest of the show. It'll be on LinkedIn later.
Hmm.
Tom says, "Long live the block." And Gregory made a good point. He says the only way he blames the recruiter is if it's like a false or non-compliance information on a job posting. So like asking
Hmm.
for 5 years of experience in something that hasn't even been around for 5 years, right?
Yeah, that's stupid. We deal with that. That's like not always our fault either, right? Like I had an order for a .NET Core, whatever version they're on, and that manager, I don't know if he read it wrong. He was an engineer too. He wanted 5 years, and that particular version had only been out like 2. And so we go into the search, we put up the job posting. I don't know that much about .NET Core, blah blah blah. I put it up, and then it's wrong, and somebody says, "Hey, dude, this doesn't make any sense," and it's like, "Oh yeah, you're right." Um, yeah, we should catch that stuff. Usually, it falls on us, but the manager should have known that before they gave me the job description too.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not always us.
I was recruiting for some medical things in the last year, and I'm a recruiter, but I don't have a medical background. And if I would have made a post and it was wrong or something, like I wouldn't have known better. I was at the mercy of the people I was recruiting for and working with.
Right, right.
I do tell doctors at the end of the day when I'm speaking to them in recruiting, like, I am a lowly recruiter. You know
Hmm.
a lot more about this topic than I do. I
Right,
can get you through the interview and I can qualify you, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be able to answer every single question you have. I'm just connecting you to the right person to get you the job interview. I think
right,
that's the other thing. Sometimes people expect recruiters to know it all about every job, not realizing how many different roles we actually have on our plate and that we're
right,
juggling to get through.
right. But that's the other part of it too. You admitted that you didn't know. There's also, Chad, the recruiter, that will say, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. .NET Core, it was invented in blah, blah, blah." And it's like, dude, shut up. You're a recruiter. And that's problematic, right? Because Greg is out there interviewing for roles, and some kid with a communications degree is trying to talk tech to him. Like, I'm not a technical, right? I'm not a well, I'm a little technical, but not technical enough to know everything. So if I don't know, I'm going to say, "Hey, this is a question the hiring manager gave me to ask you. I'm going to look at you blankly when you answer it, but I'll write down everything you say. So do the best you can." And just sometimes people appreciate that, and that's our job too, is to say, "I'm a recruiter. I'm responsible for all this, but I don't know your job."
Right.
So that's the difference, though, right? That's how I was trained.
Exactly. Exactly. And we were actually trained to do the
Mhm.
job where some people just got dropped into something and I don't even think they knew what they were getting into. It's just, oh, headhunter sounds cool. I'll do that.
Yeah, big promises.
Jody said she only experienced one bad recruiter who didn't have any insight on the role or no info when asked. But I mean, recruiters should know the basics. I think that's
Mhm.
just common sense. But when it gets to like really in-depth technical questions, I'm not going to know all of those.
Yeah,
But to your
Jody's a salesperson, they should know. Like, what did they not know? I wanna know that.
Well, and to your point, I can only do so much depending on how
Right.
much I have on my plate too. So I can pull up the facts that I have about this job and the common questions that people ask me that I've received answers for. But sometimes you're going to ask me something that I'm going to have to go back and figure out for you.
Mhm.
That's just life. But to your other point, Chad, the recruiter, needs to stop acting like he knows it all because he
Right,
doesn't.
right.
Exactly, Laura. What are we doing? Right?
I don't know,
I don't know what all that is.
I worked with Laura on some licensed healthcare medical, I don't know what they were, man, and I saw it, I'm like, "No, I don't wanna do this." Amy did I didn't know, and I can't do that stuff. I can't, it's too much. It's like it's worse than learning another language.
Oh
So
gosh. I don't speak any other languages, but my kid is learning Mandarin and Spanish right now. So pray for me. I'm gonna have to. He comes home and he sings a song in Mandarin, and I'm like, what does it mean?
that's awesome.
I don't know what it means. I know the great public school system by us is doing that. Believe it or not, we got him into a great school. And
Public
it's
school
public school.
system, Mandarin at
Public
a public school.
public school. He does Mandarin once a week and Spanish twice a week.
That's crazy.
Crazy. He's gonna have a good resume.
Yeah.
I have
Well,
to
he
get him in
better
something
be
really
able to.
technical.
For sure.
All right, we got one more comment, Laura. We were in the trenches.
Yes.
You guys were in the trenches.
We were in the trenches. Yeah.
This is my sister watching. Kelly, I'll have Axel call you and sing you the song in Mandarin. I'll make sure you find out. Okay. We're already halfway through the show. We got to keep rolling. We're going to get into the next topic about if you do want to get a promotion, maybe you need to stop being so amazing at your job. What do you think about that, Richie? Do you agree with me on this, or am I on my own in this one?
It's hard for say. So personally, it's hard. So every job I've ever had, I do everything I can to be the best person or be the best employee that I can, and that's how I was raised. So I don't know that I could do that where I would say, oh, I need to back off a little bit. Like for me, it doesn't make sense. I can see
In your
sometimes.
role, no, but I work with a lot of people in like tech sales, all of these IT roles. And there are definitely people who get looped into they're so good at their job that they
So
couldn't
preach. Yeah.
imagine having to find a replacement for that person.
Well, yeah, I do that too, right? So in fractional, part of my job is to work myself out of a job, right? So the idea is that I build it so someone cheaper can come in after me and do the same thing I was doing, and that's a matter of like I have to slow down and write down what I'm doing. So, but yeah, I get it. So it's scope creep, right? So if I'm not supposed to be leading people and I all of a sudden start leading team meetings, then maybe don't do that. And if it's expected of you, you need to ask why it's expected of you without a manager title.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people think that I'm going to do this and it's going to show that I have leadership potential, which is true. But then you get roped into doing the job for the money you're already making and the title you're already
Right.
doing.
I mean, that happened at that agency we worked at. I actually came in and said, I'm not leading a team, period. And then all of a sudden they made a Slack group and said, Richie's going to lead these meetings. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, this isn't what I signed up for. And then on a meeting, they said, okay, Richie's a manager now. And I'm like, man, this is.
And you're live on the meeting with all of us. So
Yeah,
we can't say
right.
anything else.
No, and that's actually what happened. It didn't help that my brother was the, VP of sales, but yeah, that's what happened. So, but I do that naturally. So I get that. So where if there's no one stepping up to lead something, I'm gonna take charge because I can't stand the uncomfortable silence of it. So
I
yeah, I
like
get
the
that.
way Laura put this. Maybe not stop doing your job so well, but stop doing multiple people's jobs on top of your job.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
is happening often. Jody said that the only thing we're missing are the onesies.
Oh yeah.
I don't think Richie's wearing onesies anymore. He never mailed me mine. You remember that? You remember that? We were supposed to have matching unicorn onesies. People voted on the onesies we were gonna get. Do you remember when you used to post in lots of onesies?
Yeah, I did, and then I got fired for it, and then
You've done all right.
Yeah, I did okay. That was a good way to get my my base of people. There's so many freaking furry comments that I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's too weird. I didn't know what a furry was until I made a joke post in a dinosaur onesie on LinkedIn of all places. Then I have to look this thing up, and I'm like, oh, that's friggin' weird. I can't do that.
Richie's like, maybe we're gonna stop doing that now.
Yeah.
Hey, back in the day, it was fun. We had so much fun.
Yep, and I still do use those for like Halloween when the kids go trick or treating. I'll put a bear costume on; they love it. But just posting on LinkedIn is a no-no at this point.
Yeah, we're done with the onesies on LinkedIn. I never actually posted in a onesie, but I would have if I had one.
There was a lot of people that did did that after I
There
did
really
it.
was. You like kind of made that a little trend, and then a bunch of people started jumping on it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. Okay, let's get into the next one, which I feel like we could talk about this one forever because people are so annoying when they try to with you, and it's just they're like, we're networking. I'm like, no, you're pitching me. It's not the same thing whatsoever. Um, or they're like, hey, help me get a job. And then they're like, oh, but I networked with you. I'm like, asking me to help you get a job isn't networking with me.
Hmm.
What are you seeing that's really annoying to you in networking, and how can we help people network without being so annoying?
I'm like the king of annoying. So the in LinkedIn, I get more annoyed if you beat around the bush for like a couple messages and then hit me. Like if you're genuinely interested in something I'm saying or doing, just, tell me and then don't hit me right after. But if you're just trying to pitch me, pitch me. Don't the fake niceties. I don't have time for that. So, and I do it to people all the time too. I'll send a connect and I'll say, "Hey, this is gonna be a pitch. If you want to disconnect, disconnect. That's fine with me." Like, I know I'd rather you disconnect than me connect with you and then you never answer another message. Like, it's like I don't like that. I think that's just as annoying as the two messages and then pitch me. I don't know. What I think that people should be doing when they network is find someone in your niche, talk to them about what you are passionate about, and then develop the relationship before you ever ask for anything. And that's the best kind of networking. Next would be if you want something, put it in the first part of the ask.
Right. If all it is going to be a business pitch, just own it right away. I had somebody reach out to me, and in their connection request, they commented on how they watched one of my old podcasts. They dropped a name from the episode, right? And it's like, I have a quick question. And their headline on LinkedIn, the very last part said outbound savant. And I was like, oh, okay. And I connect, and I'm assuming a pitch is coming, right? But still, yeah, hey, nice to connect with you. I'm like, what's your question? And in parentheses, I'm like, I really hope it's not a pitch, because that's not what you said, right?
Hmm.
And I'm owning that. I hope this isn't where this is going. And no, I'm looking at it. 12 minutes later, pitched. And the last part, you don't pay if you don't get results. It's like, bro, can you read, you outbound savant? Do you know what you're doing? Clearly not. You got to remove that from your LinkedIn headline. I think
Hmm.
we got to start voting to remove things off of the headlines that aren't true.
Yeah, vote them off the island.
But right, and immediately I'm like you, Richie, I will disconnect with someone if it's annoying to me, or I feel like you didn't even take 2 seconds.
Hmm.
Um and again, I people message me a video, and I'm like, "Oh, they made me a video." And then I click on it, and it's like, "Hi, you have done a great job with your business.
Right.
I would love to help you write a book." With
Hmm.
all of your like, "What? Who am I? What am I doing? You don't know anything. You said this to 12 people." And then you message me 3 days later asking why I didn't respond to your video.
Hmm. I want to know from Tom Slocum why he's telling everybody to say, "My CEO noticed you post this. Let's connect." Blah blah blah. He wants me to connect. I'm just kidding, Tom. I know you didn't do that.
Just
Why
kidding.
is that? Why is that the new thing? My CEO said I should hook up with you and talk about this. Like, dude, who is your CEO, and why is this your entry? Like, what? I don't
It
know what you're talking about.
it's so
That's the new one I keep been getting lately. Like, my CEO noticed this and said I should reach out. No, he didn't. No
no, I
one, no
didn't.
one. This is such a weird thing to say. Did Tom
Well,
leave already?
I'm sure he just popped in for a minute.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
tagged Tom so he knows we're talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, yeah, Laura, it has me dead too. Just people need help. People need help, and people need help. Jody says that her networking approach is like the tortoise and the hare. The
Mm-hmm.
tortoise take the long road building the relationship, and then down the road, then you ask. And I don't think that's wrong, Jody. I don't think you're doing it wrong at all.
Yeah, that's what I do usually. I connect with people and then I'll forget, and then I'll see them post and I'll be like, oh, I never asked them anything, and then I'll be like, hey, this is what I do, and I feel like that's better. Like, just connect with people and then worry about it later. Like, you don't have to immediately write some crazy ass message and freak people out, right? It's
No,
already weird.
and if somebody's posting content, you don't have to just DM them right away. Go like 3 of their posts or leave a comment. Clearly,
Hmm.
people post content because they want people to interact with it. If I see that you interacted with my content, I'm much more likely to engage with you in the DMs versus
Hmm.
you telling me my content is awesome, but you've never actually been over there and gave it some love. But now you're in my DMs like, hey, give me your money. No,
Hmm.
no.
Right.
And
Right.
Laura, to your point, she says that you can only connect with her with an email, right? I have on my page my business email,
Hmm.
but in my contact information on LinkedIn, I have a personal email that I don't check that often because people are lazy and they're not reading they're not
Hmm.
reading anything on my page where I'm actually going to get back to you and I'm actually going to like respond to you. They just go to my contact info and they email my generic email. And when
Hmm.
I see it come in there, I also know that you didn't take 2 seconds to even look at my profile because my profile clearly tells you how to reach out to me.
They're automating it if they're catching your personal anyway. Nobody's clicking your contact. Like, yeah, they're not even looking at anything. They're pulling that off Apollo or something and then sending, right?
Exactly.
Apollo's back on LinkedIn today, huh? That's
Are they?
cool.
I didn't even
Yeah,
realize.
today they're allowed back on.
Today it
Hmm.
happened?
Hmm.
Congrats to Apollo for getting your LinkedIn account back after how many years? How many years?
At least one, maybe two. I'm not really sure how long it's been.
Laura says she gets those fake forwarded emails. I get
Oh,
those.
the fake CEO.
I
The
get those.
oh,
And,
sorry.
and it's very obvious nobody said, "Oh, go reach out to them." Why wouldn't they just reach out themselves?
Hmm.
Like if your CEO wanted to talk to me so bad, your CEO would be messaging me.
Right. Exactly.
It's not true. Okay, this one says Kelly says it's like having a wingman at the bar, too afraid to ask the girl out on your own.
Hmm.
Yeah, we don't all need a wingman. Just go do it. Be polite. Don't be
Hmm.
annoying. And if you're gonna pitch, own it. Like Richie said, right away. Say this is what I'm doing. It's like when people get on a sales call. I don't like the whole opener of hi, this is a cold call. But whatever, I will actually listen to you if you call me and say this is a cold call. Okay, dude, shoot your shot. I'm in sales. I'll give you 15 seconds. What you got? Let's go. And if it sounds good, we can have a conversation. You owned it. I'll take the call. But if you get on the call with me and it's like some bullshit and then a few minutes later it turns into that, like what are we doing? Or I just click
Hmm.
hang up. I don't even say goodbye. I'm so rude. Yeah, I don't even. Oh, Gregory got a fake email from the CEO of IBM.
How do you know it was fake?
Listen, people are out there sending fake emails and they're putting my LinkedIn on the bottom for jobs that I don't actually recruit for, trying to get resumes and get people's information. But because they list my LinkedIn at the bottom and it's my real LinkedIn, it looks legit. I've had
Hmm.
6 people in the past 3 weeks forward me emails and say, "Is this you? Is this from your company?" And all of those people I know. And I'm like, "No, dude, I would have reached out to you personally. Like, I wouldn't have sent you a generic email. Absolutely not." Gregory says, I find in the job market that networking is a one-way transaction, but it should be two-way transaction. Hence the only thing that I don't like about recruiters. That's okay, Gregory. We can't all be perfect. And I will say some recruiters have so many people trying to network with them that I'll be straightforward. It burns us out. I was burnt out. Why have you guys not seen me on LinkedIn for over a year, right? I was barely showing up, barely putting in effort. I completely burned out. Um, and it felt exhausting and it did feel like you're to your point, a one-way street. So I think you got to give people some grace too in that sense. But I think we all deserve an answer at the end of the day. Just like you hear recruiters ghost people, candidates ghost recruiters too. It happens more often than recruiters care to admit. We just don't want to go run around telling y'all we got ghosted.
Sales candidates ghost.
Sales
Period.
candidates ghost all day long.
Yeah,
It's a big
they're
deal.
probably 25, 30%, I would say. And I'm recruiting a couple of VP roles, and They don't show up, and it's all, and the engineers show up. The sales candidates don't show up. So yeah, happens.
Yeah, it happens to all of us. All right, we got 10 minutes left. We got one more topic, and then we're still going to do our fun Friday fact. I hope Richie came up with one. But right now, I want to talk to you about a 30-day career reset. I met someone last night who wants to transition industries, who's looking to get into a new role, who wants help on really figuring that out. And they're lucky enough that they're still in their current job, so they have time to kind of do this without feeling that pressure. But I think when it comes down to really understanding what you need to do to get the results so that you're not spraying and praying, so that you're not sitting in just negative uh um rejection emails, you have to have a good foundation. And each week I think you should work on something different. Do you agree with
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, I think people overthink the job search in general. Um, I think that you need to think of it as each application as is a reset, period. So you're not changing your odds by applying more. It's like buying a lottery ticket, right?
Right.
Just because I bought a bunch of lottery tickets doesn't mean that, and that's awful, but it is kind of the way it is right now. But you have to reset each time and keep tracking, unless you're actually doing something different each time. Tracking all of your applications hurts you. It's a fresh game every time you open LinkedIn, really. So, yeah, resetting a lot is probably the best way. I get what you're saying with 30 days, but I think more often resetting.
100%. I think when I'm talking about 30 days, I think I just mean when you've decided that you want to really focus on doing something and you feel stuck. I think a lot of people
Oh
who
yeah.
watch this show feel stuck in what they're doing or where they're at. Like you said to your first point, your resume and LinkedIn need to be touched first. You need to make
Mhm.
sure that those two things are in alignment. The first thing Richie said on this show today is that if you send me your resume and it looks nothing like your LinkedIn, I'm moving you out of the pile. Those two things have to be in alignment. So take a week and hone in on that. Figure out the types of jobs you want to apply for. Figure out the companies you want to work for, and then don't go spray and pray to 500 different types of jobs. Now you can apply to 20 jobs that are in those industries within those realms of what you're actually looking for. And you don't have to go change your LinkedIn every day because it's aligning with what you're already looking to do.
Mhm.
I think that people get bogged down in the, what do you mean I need to change my LinkedIn for every job? No, not at
No.
all.
Go
That's
after what you're good at and leave it.
exactly.
Mhm.
I would say for me, if you're really thinking about this reset in week 2, it's a lot of like intentional outreach. To your point you said earlier, you have to go find the right people. You have to look for email addresses. For in us, it's sales. You got to find phone numbers. You have to be willing to make the call. But people aren't intentional in who they're networking with.
Mhm.
We get 100 connections a week on LinkedIn? I think it's
Yeah, I don't
100.
know.
I don't really
Yeah.
remember. I think it's 100. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but you get 100 a week. Are you actually leveraging that to help you in this process, or are you just connecting with the recruiter who wore a onesie on LinkedIn and made a cool post? Like,
Or Social Saturday or what I do. I don't know if they still do that, but any of that crap,
I'm
like
seeing it coming
connecting.
back. Oh, it's
Yeah.
hurting my heart. Don't bring Social Saturday back. If y'all are Social Saturday people, I'm so sorry. I don't know why you're watching our show. Social Saturday was just a popularity contest. Who could post first? Who could get the most likes and reactions on it? Like, and you're connecting with people in countries that you're never gonna hire from, that you're never gonna be able to work with.
Yeah, and it screws up your algorithm. Like you're getting posts from people in Africa. Like, okay, it's
No.
not going to help you. And that's who's seeing your content too. Like they're not even up at the same time as you. It's not helping you in any way, shape, or form. It's not.
And the people who see your content need to be the people who are either going to want to hire you, going to want to buy from you, going to be in your ICP. You have to train your algorithm too to not just show you what you want to see, but to show your content to the people who need to see it.
Hmm. Yep. And that doesn't help.
No.
Uh,
All right, I want to talk about telling their story because I think that's another part of this that people don't really do enough of. I think we work on the resume, we work on the LinkedIn, we network. And then it's just like, well, I did the hard part. And then you walk into the interview and you don't even know how to explain what you've done in the last 5 years.
Right. Just for a real quick example, I was talking about a candidate to the IT or VP of engineering or something last night, and he said so he integrated and deployed this to this many people. But what did it do? Like, so what if he deployed this new software? What was the point of deploying that software? I don't know that he knows what he's talking about on his resume. And it's a red flag, right? You have to tell the whole story, not just use the buzzwords, right? And I think that's true in interviewing too. Like we get so used to like, well, I led a team of 11 and yada yada yada. And what did you lead them doing? What day to day? How are you leading them? It's telling the whole story, like you're saying.
When you tell partial story and you think that's it, that's a red flag in the interview. That's why you don't move on to the next round. You didn't complete the circle. And a
Hmm.
lot of people have a hard time doing that. And it is something you have to practice.
Hmm.
You have to
Yeah.
practice interviewing.
Yeah, it's cognitive closure. I just wrote a book about this. So, there's an old study back from the I don't even know 20s or something, where a woman went into a restaurant and she observed that a waitress could take an order and remember the entire order for a 10 top, and as soon as the people left, she wouldn't remember the order anymore. But if she forgot to bring a straw or napkins, she would remember that for the rest of the day because of cognitive closure. You don't want to be remembered for the wrong thing, right? You want that closure. So in an interview, if somebody says, well, or somebody in sales, I don't know a good example for this, but you say, I closed this or I won this much business, 2 new logos. How'd you do it though? Like you're just spouting off stuff, but you don't want their interviewer to say it. They knew that they closed net new 2 logos or whatever, however you say it, but they didn't tell me how they did it, and that bothers them. And then when it comes down to you or another person, when you didn't tell the whole story, you're only remembered for the negative.
Exactly. And the thing that people remember you for is what you move on, yes or no. It doesn't have to do with can you do the job. It's what
Hmm.
did you say in the interview and what are you being remembered for the moment you walk out of the room.
Hmm.
And then the last thing I would say with this whole career reset is a lot of people like quit too soon. It's like, oh, I did it and it didn't work out for me. So I'm going to try to do something like things take time and you can't just put in minimal effort and say that didn't work and now I'm going to go try something else.
Hmm.
You have to actually stick with something consistently. Like Richie said, you have to track what you're doing, track your applications, figure out what's working. You have to be consistent in the follow up at the end of the day.
Hmm.
You can't decide that that was too hard and you just dip out.
Maybe it's nothing. I don't know.
I
So,
agree.
all right. Tom gave you and I a compliment. He said that you would do well to talk to us and make sure that you are targeting properly. I know Richie's a nice guy. I bet if you bought his book, he'd 100% talk to you. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Drop the link so people can find it. Laura agrees. Social Saturday can get kicked out. And Gregory, thank you, thank you, thank you. New accounts on LinkedIn can connect with 50 to 75 per week. Established users 100 to 150. Aim for 20 to 25, but stay under 100 to be safe. I think that's perfect advice right now.
I haven't hit my connection request cap in a long time. I guess I don't know.
I haven't either, just because I haven't been posting or doing that much. Richie, this was fun. Any other stuff before we go into our fun Friday facts? What do you want to leave the people? What can they take away to be better and to level up their career?
Oh, to succeed in this job market, you have to be savage and you have to have an unreasonable amount of confidence, like delusional confidence. That's my going out thing. My fun fact, I don't know. I didn't think of anything. I wrote a book called Unfinished Rooms. It's out on
Nice.
Amazon. That's what I was talking about. That's my fun fact. That's my second book I've written in a year.
Okay, so after the show, Richie's gonna go drop some links in the comments so we can all go check out his book on Amazon. And we can all go support and buy it. I've had so many friends who have written books lately, and I have a couple of them. I've read a couple of them. I'm in the middle of Gina's book, which I've had for way too long. Gina, if you're watching, I'm so sorry I haven't finished your book yet. But I just think it's incredible that people are really putting all of their thoughts and ideas onto pen and paper, and it's going to live on so much more than these shows on LinkedIn and little things like this. I think that it's really incredible. So drop the link. I'm going to support you. I'm going to buy the book. If you're watching, go buy Richie's book. My fun Friday fact is that your brain uses 20% of your body's energy. So you really can overthink things. That's a workout. Your brain uses energy. So stop overthinking it. Do the thing. Meet the person. Connect. Don't be annoying. Take our advice. And go have a great Friday.
Yeah.
Look, Laura dropped your link. Woohoo!
Oh, thanks, Laura.
There you go. Thanks, Laura. All right, guys, this was fun. It's the end of the hour. Richie, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me on my first show back.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you. All right, guys, you know what I always say. If you didn't like it, don't come back. See you next time.